There are things that you lose because your freedom has been taken away. Such was the life of Mr. Bhule, who is our guest today. Welcome, Mr. Bhule.
Thank you, Mr. Chat. It's been a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you very much. People would love to know who we are talking to. And maybe you can briefly tell us a bit about yourself.
My name is Tshidzanani Bhule. I'm from a village called Bhule. Village is under Headman Dolwane. That is in Bulilima, under Chief Masendo. I was educated at Bhule Primary. Then I went to Mbakwe Secondary, where I did my O-levels. Then I went to Plumtree High, where I did my A-levels. Then I went to university. I've been teaching in South Africa for past, I think, 12, 13 years, until my time of incarceration.
Thank you very much. I've been intrigued by the name Tshidzanani. What is the meaning of this? And
Tshidzanani is Kalanga, means help each other.
Help each other. I thought I was right yesterday. I think I'm right. Has this name any bearing in your life?
This one has greatly paid a lot of things in my life. I'm that person who likes going the further mile to help another soul. I don't know why, maybe it's the name or it's me.
Okay, all right. So that's ingrained in your character, just to help some people.
Yes.
You want to talk about instances where you have helped other people?
I think I'll talk about that in the program, because I saw it more when I was in prison.
Okay.
That's when I discovered that I've got this gift of helping other people to cope with situations.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Before that, you had not noticed that kind of a thing, or maybe there are
It was there, but sublime. I mean, I didn't notice it that much, but I took it for granted.
For granted.
But I didn't know that it was more like a gift than just something from a name.
Beautiful. So there is power in names.
There is.
Names.
I believe that
great
now.
Power in names. So people that are listening right now may need to know that when I give a name to my child, it's supposed to be a name that will be a life-changing name.
A powerful name.
Powerful name. So you want to talk about your family? Is that something that we can talk about?
I'm from a family of 9 members of my family. We are 5 brothers and 4 sisters. Our parents are still alive, although they are in their late ages. Unfortunately, some of my brothers passed away when I was in prison. So now we are 7. So that's the painful part of it.
Right, and then it's a painful thing to lose someone and you don't even see their burial. I think that must have hit you hard. Maybe we'll talk more about it when we are talking about the story of your incarceration. Now, from your family, what role have you played in your family?
I think I've been pivotal in encouraging my siblings to go further in their academic studies. I'm not saying that I was the best in the family, but I did extremely well, actually exceptionally well. So I was like a role model to them in terms of academic pursuits. And most of them, they've done so well. Like I've got this young cousin of mine who did very well in the just recent announced O-level results. She nearly surpassed my record.
Okay, nearly she didn't pass.
No.
So you've actually lived your name because you are kind of a person that really encourages others to live up to their dreams and live up to the expectations that they have. And this is very important. What are your other interests that you have?
Personally, I like helping people academically, as I've been teaching for so long. I've got study centers whereby I just call O-level students, A-level students, especially in mathematics and chemistry, and just assist them. I just enjoy that. I enjoy that.
Mathematics. Yes, beautiful. Because mathematics is something that really scares people. And now I'm seated with someone who really loves mathematics. Thank you very much. And now we will take a short break and then we'll come in the second segment to talk more about this story. Please stay tuned. Don't go away. Welcome back to the second segment of the show, Painful Goodbyes. I'm with Mr. Bhule, and we are talking about the loss of his freedom. Welcome back, Mr. Bhule.
Thank you.
Right. Earlier on, we were talking about your teaching profession, and you intimated that your profession was cut short when you were incarcerated. Maybe let's talk about that loss of freedom.
It's not something you can explain in words or maybe put it on paper so that somebody can understand. Because it's so shocking. It's just, it numbs you. You can't believe it. Suddenly there are these shackles around your wrist. And you are no longer being called by a name. You are now given a number. You see, that more like debases you, dehumanizes you. You feel that this is the end. This is it. And those first few hours, first few days, I think if you survive them, you have finished your jail sentence. They are so traumatizing.
Traumatizing.
Because you have got no freedom of actually doing anything or saying anything. You need to take orders. Either they are good orders, they are sensible orders. You don't ask. You take orders. That's when you say that I've lost my freedom. Total freedom is gone.
It's gone. You spoke about the transition from having a name to a number.
Yes.
I think this must have an impact on you. What impact did it have? Now you're called number 22
Exactly.
when you are Mr. Bhule. So let's talk about that.
It takes the person out of you. Because I think the mentality of imprisonment is to make you not feel human. Is to make you feel like an object. Because if you are used to the rest of your life being called Mr. So-and-so, and then suddenly you are being called inmate number so-and-so. And sometimes you are not used that this number is mine. You just sit down, then you are in trouble.
You're beaten
That
because
is
you've forgotten the number.
insubordination. Because you're not even used to that number, that number belongs to me. But as time goes on, because of the systems, you get to know that this number is now mine. I'm no longer that man, I'm now this number.
There were times, are there any times when you forgot your number and you got into trouble?
No, I've been always good in mathematics. So numbers are my specialty.
Yeah.
So I made it sure that I use my mathematical skills to survive.
Yes, that's very important. And now I'm thinking about the day when you were standing before the judge and he or she was pronouncing that you are going to jail. Let's talk about that day.
To me, it was like a dream. I never saw the reality of the whole thing. When they were pronouncing this sentence, the whole room was swimming around. I could not even hear what they were saying. I mean, you know what happened? Actually, I laughed. Yes, I laughed. Said, this guy, does he understand what he's talking about? I mean, he's talking about 9 years. I mean, I was calculating numbers. I said, it was 2018, so he's saying that I'm going to be out by 2027. It just came to hit me when I was in the cells. This thing is real. My clothes have been taken. I've been given some clothes which are now the prison garb, and they've been given a number. So all my freedoms are gone. It took me some weeks to recover that. No, man, this is real. This has happened. I must accept it.
And here is someone who used to give commands, someone who used to say, student so-and-so, say this, do this, and they do it. But now they are given instructions. How did you process that?
To me, it was much easier because I know what a commander expects from a subordinate. If you don't comply, you are actually provoking the commander. Okay. So I was very quick to take instructions, not wanting to be on the wrong side of the guys. Because I saw them what they could do to people. So I didn't want that. I didn't want that.
Right. 9 years. When they said 9 years, it rang a certain bell. I don't know what it was when they pronounced 9 years. Right, you were in that state of confusion, but there should be some thoughts. What were they that came to you?
The thoughts which struck me most, I asked myself, who is going to bury my father? Who is going to bury my mother? Those were the first thing which came to my mind. But fortunately, I found them still alive.
Still alive. It sounds like you had an anticipation that they were going to die whilst you were in prison. What really motivated that?
It was maybe the shock which I knew was going to strike them. The strain, the stress. I knew maybe they could not take it. But fortunately, they were strong enough. They took it. They took it.
As I'm listening to this, every parent desires something that's good for their child. But when something bad happens, they are disturbed. But you saw it affecting your parents. It sounds like you have a strong connection with your parents. Let's talk about the connection, how it suffered during your jail term.
My family bond, I think it got stronger during my incarceration. Even my distant cousins, they came in. Some from abroad, they will come regularly. Some from South Africa, they will come. My parents will stumble there and come there. I think we got stronger as a family than before. It made us a stronger unit. So that is when I came out. It was much easier for me.
For you to be incorporated into the society. Okay, I'm thinking about the unpleasant experiences that you had in prison, those that you are comfortable to talk about. Maybe let's talk about those unpleasant situations that you met.
In any society, there are elements who are rogues. There are elements who are rotten. The ZPCS is a good unit, very professional. But there's elements within that unit which are not professional. I will see them beating elderly people. Personally, I never experienced anything which I can say it was, bad to me. But seeing that being done on another human being, it made my life so miserable. And then you look at the shortages of water, the type of nutrition which people were experiencing, the conditions which we lived under during the COVID-19 pandemic. It was so traumatizing. We always wake up in the morning, gentlemen, are we all there? And that everybody's there. I've never seen people pray like during that period. It was so haunting, seeing that even those people whom we called the West of the West, they will start praying. That, gentlemen, when we die out of this, let us die in prayer. That was traumatizing. Everybody accepted that we are going to die. The situation was just
Bad.
terrible, bad. But personally, as an inmate, I never
experienced it.
I lived well with these officers. They respected me, and I respected them. For that, I'm grateful of.
Now, it seems like the camera shifted from focusing on you and focused on others, and you felt the pain that they were going through, like when you're seeing an elderly person being beaten. We spoke about this in the first segment when you spoke about your name. I see it rolling out. So what are the emotional issues that you went through as you were observing others, because your heart leaped out to them, going through this challenge? What are the emotional issues that you went through?
One of maybe my weaknesses is a short temper.
Okay.
But I learned during that period to control it.
Okay.
So what I used to do, I would not confront the person who is actually doing the act. I'll go to another officer.
Okay.
That, my officer, are you looking at what is happening? This is not proper. This is not all right. they'll intervene and that will stop. I'll feel a very happy man if I achieve that.
Okay.
And so the other inmates will see that and they will appreciate it. Even when they had problems, they will ask me, can you go and see the officer in charge and talk to him? We've got this problem and this problem. I'll openly go to his office. He'll say, come at any time. I'll walk in and just talk to him and he will respond positively most of the times. That made me feel very good, that I've changed somebody's life. And then we used to make cooperatives. Maybe we collect soap from each other, those people who could have. Then we assisted those ones who did not have. That made me feel happy.
Now, what did you lose when you were incarcerated? What are the things that you lost besides your freedom?
Firstly, I lost all my property. I lost my wife. Not to death, but she left me. I lost 2 brothers and 2 cousins. I lost a plethora of relatives whom I could not even afford to bury. So that it left an indelible mark in my soul that I cannot heal. And I don't think that anybody can ever touch that and heal that soul.
Maybe we just put a footnote on that, and maybe just a bit of emphasis on losing your relatives, your brothers. Those were your brothers, right? And other relatives in your absence. And you hear that so-and-so is gone. Let's talk about that a bit.
The other relatives didn't affect me that much because I was told in a proper way.
Okay.
My young brother was involved in an accident in South Africa. And the information came in early in the morning at 8. And I was in class teaching. They decided that don't inform him because it will distract his teaching.
Okay.
They let me teach up to 3 p.m. That's when they told me. That's what made me snap.
Okay.
That you knew this thing from 8 a.m. Just because I'm doing a service which benefits you, you keep this from me up to this point in time. And it was that time during Corona. So they said, no, but we can go and bury your brother. I said, no, I can't. Let me finish my jail term. I will see where he's buried. That was... but I've come to terms with it.
So the manner in which it came was the one that really brought this strong impact.
All these other deaths, they did it so professionally that you could understand that I'm in a place like this. This has happened. They call a chaplain, he comes and talks to you, you handle it. But if something like that, is handled in that manner, you as a human being, you snap.
You snap. Thank you very much. Let's take a short break. We'll complete this as we get into the third and final segment. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to the third and final segment of the show, Painful Goodbyes. I'm with Mr. Bhule, who lost his freedom through incarceration. Now, earlier on, you spoke about the prison officers relaying the message of the loss of your brother. You had already lost your freedom, and now they are bringing this news. And the way in which they brought, the manner that they used in bringing this message, didn't sit well with you. what would you suggest so that you can help those who are listening to look for ways that are proper in relaying messages, such messages to people who are incarcerated?
Thank you. ZPCS has got chaplains, resident chaplains, maybe prison complex. I think it needs people, chaplains who are mature. When I mean mature, I don't mean people who know the Bible. I mean people who can show empathy. People who can show that they feel that a human being has got feelings of pain. And there's also a need in that office of the chaplain. We need a clinical psychologist.
Okay.
Somebody who can understand that this person is already undergoing a painful period of incarceration. Okay. Now there comes this second burden. How best can you hang this mind? Because you are in a prison setup. You might, when you walk out of that office, you meet another officer who doesn't know that something has happened to you and start maybe berating you, shouting at you, doing all this. And that inmate snaps. You might never know if somebody in such kind of a pain can do. Then you become somebody who has done an illegal act. I think there is a need of people who understand the the brain of the inmate to deal with people in such painful situations. They are psychologists, but when there's a time of announcement of a bereavement, I think they have to be present so that they can assess the mental strength or weakness of that inmate and then advise the chaplain accordingly.
Interesting point there that you've actually brought. And I'm also thinking about people who say things. There's a time when you then went back home, or the time you're incarcerated. There are people who were saying things, and maybe those things may have affected you psychologically, emotionally. What are those words that were said, either before when the pronouncement was given, or maybe when you were going back home after you were released from prison?
You see, when you are released from prison, people always say things. Maybe if you have noticed throughout our discussion, I never used this derogatory term, bandit. So when you go out, even in prison, we don't use that term. That's why I'm always saying inmate. But when you go back, they want behind your back, they say, you're boni bandit. Which means there goes an inmate. And when you turn back, they look down and keep quiet. So I just used to laugh at it. And I'll accept that, yes, this is a bandit because I'm from there. But I always follow that with a statement that imprisonment is not a choice to most of us. It befalls people like somebody riding through a rainstorm. You might laugh at me today. If you don't learn from my mistakes, it might be you tomorrow.
Now, as a follow-up to that, I'm thinking about how you managed to destigmatize that kind of a situation. Somebody already has put a tag on you. So how did you deal with stigma that comes with
when I was
incarceration?
In prison, I used to read a lot.
Okay.
I used to read a lot of philosophy books, psychology books. There's this author who said, to destroy negative thoughts or statements about you, discuss them with that person.
Oh,
there and there.
Okay.
So I'll just make a conversation, jokingly, just teach that person. Maybe call 2-3 people. That guy is in prison, is like this and this and this and this and this and this. Such terms like bandit, whatever, they're derogatory. People get interested. And now I've got very big crowds. I talk about this openly as if nothing happened. And the people are just saying, this guy is courageous. The best way, I talk about it.
Thank you very much. I think there should be one word that you can actually share to viewers that can be helpful to people who are going through such situations, or they have a family member who is going through this kind of a situation. What would be those words of comfort?
The worst thing which can happen to somebody who is under incarceration is to be forgotten by your close friends and relatives. But the best thing which friends and parents can do is to visit those people who are inside. Not by carrying anything, but just your presence, that you are there for these 30 minutes and you have spoken. That means a lot. Those people, they need a lot of our support, especially those who are under life incarceration, because they've lost all hope. But I've always been telling them, there is nobody who loses hope, because hope is not ours. Hopes belong to the Maker. So my word of encouragement is that let's not sever ties because somebody has been incarcerated. No. Let us keep those ties alive and maybe make them better.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bhule, for sharing your story with passion and with such zeal. For me, Skhumbuzo Dube and Mr. Bhule and the crew behind the scenes. It's a wrap.
It's painful to say goodbye. It's hard to say I miss you. The time of joy is through some rows. I need you now, dear Lord.
Hi out there, my name is Skhumbuzo Dube, the host of the show, Painful Goodbyes. This is a show that narrates the lives of those that have gone through difficult things and they have lost a certain thing or a certain person or a certain kind of a valuable entity that they may have had. Do you have that kind of a story and are you willing to share it? This is the place to share that story. Get in touch with the producer of the show and the contacts are on the screen below.
It's hard to say